Semi-final one in Super Rugby 2011, and the Queensland Reds are at home at Suncorp Stadium in Brisbane, taking on the Blues from New Zealand. And the visitors have a change in their starting pack with number 4, Chris Lowry, usually a back rower, replacing the injured lock, Anthony Borick. Go to number 11, Lockie Munro. Now, he has been given the nod to start on the left wing, probably because of his superior goal-kicking percentages, and that means that Rennie Ranger, despite being over his injury, he will be on the bench in jersey 21. The coach is Pat Lamb, and the captain, Kevin Mialamu, for the Reds. Well, they had last week off because they finished on top of the table, and Bo Robinson is back, and that means that Radiki Samo can play at number 8 as well, because he was on the bench against the Chiefs in the Waikato. Dipi Ioane, another Wallaby, back on the left wing, and Anthony Faenga comes into the 13 jersey. The captain is James Horwall. The coach is Ewan McKenzie. Semi-final number 1 in 2011 about to get underway. There is the whistle, and the Blues kick off. And it goes down to Tupperwide, charged down immediately, but picked up brilliantly. That's John O'Lance, the youngster, in his first appearance at Suncorp Stadium. Now Cooper throws the dummy, and Brett didn't miss that tackle, and Kano was over the top as well.
What a start by the Blues. Charge down and then a huge hit on Cooper.
And now Genia gets the kick away. It's going to land around about the 10-metre mark, and it's on the ground. Knocked back by the Blues, so they've got it touch in the opening minute or so. Williams nearly coughed it up. He got it out the back door to Brett, and now Stanley.
Well, Bo Robinson's there on the ball.
Penalty right in front of Rod Kafer, sideline.
Yeah, really good start there from the Reds. A little bit scratchy, obviously, with their first touch. Bo Robinson back into the action and getting a turnover in the first minute of the match. He'd be delighted about that. You can see the intention, I think, of the Blues. I watched them as the crowd was chanting for the Reds to come on the field, and a few of them with sort of those nervous glances. You know, you look up into the crowd and just think, geez, there's a lot of people here screaming for the opposition. I could see it in their faces. I thought they had that little bit of starry-eyed about them, but they know they're in a game now, and it'll be interesting to see how the Reds take advantage of this early field position.
Set piece of key, Phil.
Oh, certainly. You don't have the ball, you don't win games. And the Red set piece has been pretty solid this year. Their scrum's been put under a bit of pressure at times, but they've always come good.
Rod Davies coming in, looking for an early touch, and now Faenga. Faenga's taken by Chris Lowry. Short ball from Genia to Simmons. 22-metre mark, Blues territory. Good field position for the Reds. Bo Robinson over the advantage line, just. Genia looking for another runner, finds his captain, Horwall.
Cooper's getting ready.
And Genia. Now Holmes. Greg Holmes, of course, getting a start with no James Slipper. Well, they're not really going anywhere. Still parked on the 22. Now to Cooper. And he brings Davies in, gives it across to Faenga. And Faenga looked to pass on the inside, just couldn't get the pass away. And now it's just popped out of there somehow. And the kick downfield is a good one. And it turns right angles into touch, so a relieving kick there from the Blues. How did that ball pop out like that?
Well, somebody had their hand on it at the bottom of the breakdown. Miraculous it was.
Marto, I think it was a foot. I think you'll find it's a foot here, and watch.
Is it a flicker?
Jared Payne, is it? There he goes, and watch, boom.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and Jonathan Kaplan's called play on. Probably right. He looked like he was bound as part of the ruck there. Jared Payne, they didn't do a good enough job cleaning him out.
Well, another line-out win, but not straight. Faenga has a glance at the assistant on the far side, Stuart Dickinson. Shakes the head.
Just drifted at the end.
This is where the perceived strength is, Kernsey, in the Blues scrum.
Well, certainly the front row is bigger, but the scrums together are about the same size, not much in it.
Crouch.
Foe has had a whale of a season, the number 3 for the Blues.
Touch. Joe Rokothoko off the blind wing in centre field, ready to attack.
Matthewson puts it in and takes it out. So great attacking position for the Blues. And Payne Now gives it out to McAllister and over to Munro. Munro into the 22. Ran out of space, did well to cut back in field. Mathewson to Brett. Here come the Blues early on. They want to really silence this crowd tonight, unlike week 13 when they were down 24-0. Brett shows it on the inside, goes to Payne. There's a grubber kick, and Samo will place it in goal.
Oh, was his timing right? It was. It is a 22. He waited and just got it as it crossed the plane of the line. Looked all right there. I tell you what, they tempted Anthony Fanger and Ben Tapawai out of the line here, the Blues. Watch the two red centres. Both of them negated completely, pulled off nothing. The Blues almost made a big deal out of their first attack.
Yeah, if that pass had been in front of Lockie Munro so he could run onto it, I mean, he wouldn't have scored, but, gee, it would have been tight.
But they're out of the blocks very quickly there. The Reds, the defence just really pushing a lot of pressure on them as they win the kick-off here comfortably, and Genia looks to the short side.
And he finds Lance, and he on the inside finds Ioane, and now the kick from Genia. Lance puts it on the toe, and into touch it goes. Oh, the Reds asking some questions on the short side.
Oh, well, they took the gamble with the short 22, and they've benefited 70 metres downfield.
Well, we heard Genia and Cooper talking about each other before the game. And Cooper talked about Will Genia's speed off the mark. That was just remarkable, the way he got away from the defenders and was able to find Cooper wide.
Passes early enough to give himself a chance to have a second touch of the ball. Doesn't allow himself to get tackled.
Won by Horwell, so the Reds now with a very good attacking opportunity. 10 metres out.
Use it once!
And Will Genia to Robinson, dummies, and then takes them on, and Afara's right over the top of them. That's great work. Well, the Reds, they were still in line-out formation, or still in that ruck after the line-out. Now, Ioane on the 10-metre mark. Anthony Fanger, he needs support as well. Did well just to turn his body back towards his own goal post. Now, oh, Davies puts a foot on the gas. Jono Lance, Rokathoko. He's not held, but he just couldn't reach out and find the chalk. They continue to charge ahead. Penalty to the Reds.
There is a massive clean out there by James Horwell. What a run by Rod Davies to get a poke on the outside. Cooper wants to take a quick one. Jono Lance did so well, thought he was going to sneak over for the try.
Well, isn't that the benefit of just sheer speed, the way Rod Davies hit onto that pill?
Show me the gap, show me the space.
Well, have a look, Rod Davies, he's only his second game back after a hamstring worry. That's a problem when you're a speedster. Looked a little bit hesitant against the Chiefs, but getting on the outside there. Rokathoko did such a great job to pull down Jono Lance, and here's that clean out. Have a look at cop that, Lockie Munro from James Horwell.
Whereabout was it just getting up slowly and interfering? Whereabout was it the last one?
Quite a tough penalty in some ways.
Yeah.
I thought he was in good position there, Lockie Munro. Had the tackle was made. I think Jonathan Kaplan saying that maybe there was a couple of those, but
He had the rights.
yeah, I thought he was fine there, and it was, you know, he did a very good job. But the Reds twice have looked to get on the outside. They defend with Jared Payne, who wears the 15 jersey but plays in effect in the centres. At outside centre they'll defend, and Luke McAllister plays the game wearing number 12 at fullback. Just think that they've got a better kicking game and in some ways a better attacking game and defensive game with him back there. Certainly can play a couple of different roles in the back line, McAllister.
It's a big kick first up by Quade Cooper. This is his poor side where he normally pulls it across the post from right to left. It'll quite often go.
Will it hold its line? No. Well read, Greg Martin. So he stays on 210 points for the season. And Ewan McKenzie, I think the decision was probably right in a playoff. Shoot for the post. Remember, you're not chasing 4-try bonus points, you're just chasing a win to get into next week's decider. So, down to Davies and across now to Cooper. Genia goes high. Comes down around about the 10-metre mark. Genia got his hands on it, lost it forward. Scrum.
He'd be disappointed, Will Kenny, normally one of the best players in the team under the high ball. Very, very competent there. I think he was looking to jump and got caught between should I jump or I don't really have to. I can just take it on my chest and got a surprise. Let's see if the Reds use that same defensive strategy that they did when they got broken so easily before, of rushing out of the defensive line, really trying to put pressure on the midfield of the Blues. Anthony Fainga defending one out here on the right-hand side.
Mathewson does run well from the blind side.
Touch.
So they got that covered.
Pause. Take it.
Blues have won 5 of the last 7 matches against the Reds. That's why they've been reasonably confident this week. The ball has been touched, so all of the Blues chasers are onside, and Quade Cooper under no real pressure there.
Jeez, his foot was close to being in touch there.
The assistant, James Leckie, said no, and so Stephen Brett.
Oh, that's brilliant.
And now McAllister. McAllister back on the inside to Brett. Genia makes the tackle, wraps him up, ball and all. And the Blues, a little slow, that ball coming out of there, so the Reds had a chance to regroup, and Samo comes through, puts a hit on Joe Rokothoko, who bounced out of it, and it's still there. Benson Stanley gets it over to Peter Saili. Mathewson, Stanley, now McAllister, and from one side to the other, Jared Payne straightens Davies, and also Ioane makes the tackle. McAllister, well, they're moving the ball, no doubt about that. Rokothoko up to the 22.
They're loving the dry conditions, the Blues.
Mathewson, Kano, and Faumuina goes to ground, but inside the 22. Now the Reds will have to watch their discipline as they come wide again to Munro. And it's intercepted by Rod Davies, the fastest man on the paddock tonight.
Only a torn hammy can stop him.
Don't say it, Marto. First try of the semi-final, intercept to rocket Rod Davies.
Well, you could see that intercept coming a mile off the red. The Blues were just looking to stretch it wide, and they did have men wide. It was the right option. But the passer, whoever it was, I didn't see who threw the pass. I think it might have been Munro.
Well, fortune favours the brave. I think there were 3 Blues. We'll see it on the replay. There would have been 3 Blues on the outside, and he's had the guts. It was Lockie Munro. 1, 2, 3 Blues loose on the outside. That's how you take intercepts. You take a risk, and Davies has got the reward with 5-pointer under the post, about to be 7.
Missed 6 games of Super Rugby in the regular season. Rod Davies with the hammy problem. Wallaby tourist to Europe and the UK last year. He is electrifying, and from right in front, Quade Cooper bangs it over, and so it is 7 points to 0. The Reds over the Blues, semi-final 1.
I always thought it was just easier to be slow than worry about hamstrings, Kate.
Well, it served you well in your career, Phil, but
yeah.
It was interesting that the Blues looked very good in attack there. I must say that there were some opportunities there that tested the Reds. And semi-finals are about that. You're going to get tested in attack and defence. You know, the Blues are a grafting, hard-grinding team. They don't give away many penalties. In fact, give less penalties than any other team in the competition. So the Reds are going to have to work hard if they're going to get their points, and they're going to have to score tries.
Tapawai. Genia.
Oh, Bo Robertson come off his hip, actually.
Lost forward.
Forward pass.
Oh, it was forward as well. Yeah, I don't think it was meant for Bo Robinson. But
No, well, Geni's just had a bit of a blow-up.
Yeah, he was coming around the corner. Bo Robertson acted as a decoy. It was supposed to go to Davies out wide.
If I stand on top of it, I'm missing.
so a chance here for the Blues to hit back immediately. I'll get the put in.
I don't want that.
Oh, would have put Davies on Ali Williams to chase.
Crouch.
Pat Lamb, coach of the Blues, doing a lot of talking.
Touch.
It's unusual for him. He's a pretty quiet sort of bloke.
Mathewson for the Blues. Brett to Stanley. Benson Stanley. Mialamu straight ahead. Williams has gone to ground. Payne cleans up. Went forward off a red hand there, the call from the assistant on the far side, Stu Dickinson. Scrum again.
The Blues just really need to get a bit of go forward. There's a lot of sideways going on. There's a lot of east to west. They need a bit of north-south going on.
Yeah, I think it was Ben Tapawai's hand in there in defence. Yeah, well, that's one reason why the intercept was able to be picked off, because they didn't have any runners actually changing angles.
They're a very difficult team, I think, the Reds, to get momentum against, because they're great tacklers, miss less tackles than any other team in the competition. They hit very hard, they get off the line very well. They're very well disciplined in defence, as Clarkey said earlier on, and that's where I feel the Reds have an advantage. Whoever can dominate that running play, those running forwards, whoever forwards dominate that and get go forward ball, their back line will take advantage of it. And so far it's been the Reds. They've dominated the battle of the game line, and the Reds have profited when they've had the ball. It's only early, they got the intercept try, but they've looked like making breaks a little bit more often than what the Blues have so far.
You just have to pinch yourself when you see the wide shot of the stadium there. It was underwater in Dennery. Most of Brisbane in the CBD area and surrounds was underwater, and here we are, almost a full house. State of Origin sold out on Wednesday, and if the Reds win tonight, you'd think it would be sold out again next week. So to those involved, it's been fantastic to get Suncorp to where it is. And of course, it's been great for the Reds to have this revival of rugby in Queensland. And they're up against one of the great teams of Super Rugby, the Blues from Auckland. And they're on the attack. Matthewson has a skirt and a good one.
Clever
over
rugby.
the 22, and he's still going. Reds lead 7-0. Now, Kano has tackled. Foa gives it to Faumuina. Now Braid got away from one. Holmes makes the tackle. They're edging closer, the Blues. Saili, head down. Quick recycle, Faumuina. You got the feeling they were going to back themselves up front. Oh, and then unfortunately, they give away a penalty. Kevin Mialamu taking a defender out.
You're taking the first defender out.
The progress is incredible. It all goes back to Matthewson, because Will Genny is defending straight on to Stephen Brett. The chances there early, but then it got to this, Kearnsey. Watch Kev Mialamu.
Yeah, there he is, and that is again a classic Auckland move.
Well, he was hanging on to two Reds players.
Yeah, they've done
You're ahead of the ball carrier.
it a lot this year. They actually started, and a number of other teams picked up on that little fad. Jonathan Kaplan.
It's hard to detect as a referee, isn't it?
It is. I suspect there might have been a touchy rule on that.
It's a good take by Higginbotham for the Reds, and now Genia.
Might be a box kick.
He goes to the air, gives it plenty of air. Munro waits underneath it and leaves it behind, but Mialamu was just drifting back, and he got a good bounce. There were about 3 Reds jumpers, and now the penalty goes to the Blues.
Yeah, Samo and Bo Robinson.
Straight off their feet.
Yeah, straight off their feet, blocking the
7
ball.
and 8.
Yeah, I think Matthewson, before that, the penalty they got before his Munro, did he not even touch it?
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
Matthewson taking off on the open side from the base, because he's aware that Will Genia is going so hard and fast at Stephen Brett. The opportunity was behind Genia, and I'm sure they'll try that again, because it'll keep Will Genia a lot more honest at the base.
Kevin Mialamu throwing into the line out. About 30 metres out, it's sloppy at the back, and it's gone backwards, fortunately. Picked up by John Afoa.
On your feet.
10-metre mark. Lowry gives it to Braid. Matthewson. Saili. Brett wants it to the left. Benson Stanley. Get out the back and Munro.
I think there was a knock-on in there.
Yeah, they got the call from the assistant, but it's been won by the Reds, and now over the top it goes. The advantage is over. He's chasing. And Payne. He's taken there by Anthony Fainga.
Oh, left it.
Oh, good cover up.
Chance to run here.
But Brett's going to kick.
I think that was touched.
Oh, here's trouble. Cooper and Ioane coming at you.
He's got Saili, a number 8, and Ali Williams a lock, and now he gives on the outside to Ioane, and Ioane kicks, and it's into touch off the Blues.
Oh, was that a bit of action or what?
Oh, didn't the crowd love that little round the corner pass from Quade Cooper?
They defended it well, though. The Blues covered it. What do you got coming at you, Stephen Brett? You're crazy for kicking open. Here comes Ioane. Big hit by Ali Williams. Cop a bit of that. a little bit of pinball action there. Ball all over the place and covered. The Reds have got the advantage.
And Fainga goes to his captain, and he can't control it. Wasted opportunity by the Reds.
Hold there.
Onto the left foot. Oh, that's a good kick. No, they'll come back. Penalty to the Blues. Well, those sort of things are coach killers. But that's the contest at the line out you're up against. A good pack, although it has Lowry in the line out, and he's playing as a lock, and he's usually a back rower.
It's a clever kick in the end from Benson Stanley. That was well picked up there around the corner by Afoa. Chased well. There's the pass, a bit high from Ali Williams. He had to keep that low because you could see, I think it was Fainga coming through to chase.
10 offsides.
2 missed throws there from Saya Fainga. He's not happy about it. You've got to be a perfectionist in that position when you're throwing. That was maybe 2 centimetres off, I reckon, that throw.
It's interesting they go into a 5-man line out there close to the line. You know, only gives you really 2 options: one jumping pod to hit, and maybe someone at the front. And you know, the Blues read it pretty well. I would have preferred to have seen them go into a 7-man line out and hit the back jumper, who's going to be free that close to the line.
Plenty of possession for the Blues in the last 5 minutes, and we're at the halfway stage of the first half at Suncorp Stadium. Brad, a flat pass to Saili.
Roll out.
Matthewson. Gives it to Payne and Rokafoko. Smoke and Joe heading to France next season. Stanley. Saili. Brett almost running over the referee. McAllister, Payne puts on the gas over the halfway line. McAllister picked up by Brad, and Ali Williams reaching out, holding on, only just. Brett. Lowry. Ilama goes in to scrum half. Saili again in midfield. Samo is there, so too Horwell. Matthewson.
I think the pick and drive's a good option for the Blues.
It's normally what they do so well.
Now Munro. Papawai holds on.
One of the Reds down in back play.
Might even be Greg Holmes injured.
10-metre mark. Brett, Payne. Still there. Afoa.
Samo tried the big hit, came on second best.
And now Mialamu to Brett. Ioane had to race in and try and shut it down, but they still keep it alive. It was Lowry that went to ground. Now McAllister gives it to Braid. Braid, there's 4 Reds jerseys in there. Brett. Afoa. Losing it.
Lost it.
Ioane gives it to Cooper. And Cooper kicks downfield for Digby Ioane to chase, but it's going to be there for McAllister.
Oh, well played, Luke McAllister.
Fires it back to the support, and that's the halfway mark, where they'll start again. Lowry.
Gee, what a passage to play this is. Oh.
Ben Daly got over the ball on his feet, hands on it for all the world to see. I think that the Reds can seize momentum. That was 15 phases when they ended up coughing up the ball and booting it through Cooper. Certainly a victory of sorts there. Samo's injured for the Reds.
Ben Daly might have been a little lucky on that one. I thought he might have come in well from the side. There's a lot of shaking of the head there by the medical guy.
Dr. Greg Smith, as he's known. There's Van Humphries on the left-hand end.
Mike Harris on the right-hand end. Showed so much promise earlier on Mike Harris after moving from Auckland in 2011. So the crowd starts to roar as the Reds try and get that ball out of there.
I think they've lost it, the Reds. Matthewson, have a look at him digging in for it.
Well, that's 2 wasted opportunities by the home team inside the Blues 22. Great work by the Aucklanders, and there's the clearing kick.
That has not gone out. Here comes Cooper and Ioane.
It's the halfway mark. Ioane looks up. There's a wall of blue jumpers there, so he goes to the short side and beats one, as he usually does. And it pops out the side. Penalty.
Oh, Joe Rakathoka with the hand. Number 4 it was.
Samo's off.
4 hands.
Well, that's a real blow for Radigi Samo, the only man in the Reds team that has won a Super Rugby title. He did that with the Brumbies, of course, back in 2004. So disappointment there for the veteran. So 19 is on there, and a very handy replacement, Jake Schatz. Remember, he started at number 8 against the Waikato, the Chiefs.
We need them to support their own weight as well. Please.
Kevin just asking the question.
Yeah, I think that refers to that Ben Daly turnover, Kernsey, because Ben Daly was definitely bridging, had his weight being supported on other players.
Yeah, I agree with that, Marto, as well. He was a little bit lucky to get out of there. Jonathan Kaplan's one of those referees who refereed this fixture earlier in the year. That was a great match. He referees a lot by flow. He likes the game to move and to flow. He's not always technically the most accurate referee in the competition. I'm sure our Sydney and Waratah viewers would agree with that, having lost plenty against him. But he does like a game to flow, and when teams have a go, he likes to see the attacking team get those advantages. The Reds lost 2 lineouts, 5-man lineouts close to the line. I don't think they'll throw any more up. I think they'll go back to their 7-man lineout and drive from it. It's a much better platform.
Cooper from a long way out.
That's horrible.
Gee.
So that's 2 missed penalties by Quade Cooper. It's still the Reds 7, Blues 0.
He really snapped at that. That's usually his good side, of course.
It was pretty much at the end of his range, though, wasn't it? He had to give it everything.
Well, as it turned out, he had plenty of distance, as it turned out.
Toto Lance into Will Genia. So he'll go to the air for Lance to chase. And they allow it to bounce. I think the Reds are going to come up with it. No, lost forward.
Shit, I don't know what the Blues were doing. No one challenged the ball at all. They had 8 players and it found turf.
Blues looking for their first points. Mathewson to Brett. And Munro gives it to Payne, running in from fullback. Stanley on a bit of footwork, but Tapawai makes a copybook tackle. Saili. They've had no problem stringing the phrases together. The phases, rather. The Blues. And now Munro, beautiful stuff, but a good ball and all tackle by Ben Tapawai.
Jared Payne was sublime there. Wonderful angle.
Here's Payne in at first receiver. Not a great pass. The bounce was good, though, for Stanley. Rokethoko trying to bounce out of a couple. He does so. Pick and go. Saili.
Oh, here's Barry Robinson.
And Robinson going in and claiming it for the Reds. And to the short side, the grubber kick.
That's a good kick.
Lance is chasing, and it's into touch. Beats everybody just around the 22-metre mark.
Both sets going down. Players up.
Well, Bo Robinson, the blonde-haired terrier, back after 4 weeks out with an elbow injury. He offers so much for these Reds at the breakdown. They wondered last year, at the end of last year, when Daniel Brain had to go back to the Blues, wondered what they were going to do at number 7. They picked him up from nowhere, or from Sydney. It's been wonderful.
Good line-out win by Lowry, the makeshift jumper. Falmoina. Ellie Williams ripped the ball off him, stole a couple of metres. Mathewson and Brett gets the kick away.
Awkward kick.
Cooper will pick it up, 15 from halfway. Got rid of Munro, and he's dummying, still going. Throws it back on the inside, Tapawai! Quade Cooper, brilliant, and what about the backing up from Ben Tapawai?
How did that happen? Quade Cooper, that's near impossible. We see him do it on a regular basis. Incredible stuff. The one fend, the two fend, the inside ball, and then Tapawai. I didn't know he had that sort of pace. Incredible stuff from the Reds from a nothing. That's 2 tries, 1 an intercept, and 1 from a kick return from 65 out. Extraordinary stuff. Quade Cooper ignited that. Ben Tapawai was the one who benefited. Have a look at it. Well, he goes to fend here. That's fair enough on Lockie Munro, a noted non-defender. But that, the dummy, the audaciousness of that one, with Albie Mathewson all over him. McAllister says forward blast. Brett doesn't even have a go on Tapawai.
Well, it was brilliant from Cooper, but don't forget Tapawai. He just kept following him because often you can just drop off thinking, oh no, Quade's not going to get through that. He's not going to get through that. And Tapawai just kept chasing. This is a great fend. He's supposed to be a wimpy 5'8", but I guess it wasn't a wimpy winger. And down they go. Dummy 1, dummy 2. Oh, super. Good pick-up from Tapawai.
Oh, well, Stephen Brett was completely flummoxed as to what he was supposed to do and just let it go. And then Ben Tapawai goes and hugs the crowd. There was a guy in the crowd who's obviously bought a red suit a while ago, and finally he's found something to do with it.
Third try in Super Rugby to Ben Tapawai, his 2nd this season. Australian under-20 representative in 08 and 09, only his 13th game of Super Rugby.
Look at that.
Backing up.
They're wrapped in that one.
Similar position to Quade Cooper's first shot at a penalty goal.
You know, he hits the goals this year at 70% in Super Rugby, but from this side of the field, outside the 15 metres, only 43%. This is his Achilles heel. He'd love to nail it.
And again, he's pushed it out to the left, similar to the first one, so he can't add the extra 2. And it is 12 points to 0. The Reds over the Blues.
Clarkie, it's moments like this where you really get an opportunity to witness a great footballer. No matter what code it is, that's just pretty to watch. That last ball there is just fingertip control to actually get it as you're going down and to make it stick to your inside centre partner. Ben Tapawai scores the try, but it was Quade Cooper, and he's had an off night with the boot. We've seen him in previous games when that pressure comes and he starts making errors with the boot. He can sometimes play poorly around the field, but he's been anything but that. He's been excellent.
Oh, Ben Tapawai, in the first 8 seconds of the match, got his kick charge down. So close again. He takes an eternity to kick it.
Kevin Mialamu will throw the ball in to this line-out.
Well, the Blues know they've got to score here. They've got to score in the next couple of minutes.
Not much between them in the try scoring leading into this game. Both teams had scored 45 tries apiece, so the Reds have now taken that to 47. The Reds conceded 32, the Blues 37. So not a lot between them.
You just saw that stat that the Blues have had 62% of the territory. They haven't converted it to points.
Play on. And Genia hammered by Mialamu.
That's called shortening someone up. Mialamu and Fang are having a crack.
Somebody just get them apart.
Still there for Genia to kick, and it's charged down and it's picked up brilliantly by Zaili. That's great work by the number 8. And they have a chance out wide. They go to Stanley over the top to Rokothoko. Cuts back in. And he gets the pass away, and it's play on, and it's Jared Payne. The Blues desperate for points. They're inside the 22 of the Reds. Now it's Brett. And Falmawina pops it out to nobody. It's play on, though, so they get away with it. Matthewson to Brett. Mialamu. Davies holds on. Munro to scrum half. Brett. Rokothoko.
She's broken some first tackles tonight, Rokothoko.
Now it's a little slow. They set it up again. This time a Foa on Genia. Pops it up to Saili, who has been busy in this first half, the number 8. Braid. Luke Braid. Munro. Nowhere to go.
What a build-up by the Blues. Patient.
Can they come up with some points? Desperate points.
Reds need some more defence out wide.
Yeah, they've slowed it down enough then.
Lowry got a good ball away to Afoa. And now it's lost forward.
It's knocked on by one of the Blues.
And Tapawai got out of one. They hold on to one leg to slow him down. Here's Genny.
Here's a go.
Cooper. What? Inside it goes. Higginbotham. They come at him. He had a couple of backs coming at him. They make the tackle. Advantage being played. Munro in there. Here's Cooper. He dummies. And Craig Cooper tries to step his way through. He pops it out the back door. Still there. No, it's coming back for a penalty.
There's almost a yellow card here. Because that is try-scoring stuff. Ready to go.
Not interested in going to the pocket, but they'll take a shot, you'd think.
Well, I'm interested to see what he's got him for here.
Yeah, which offence was it?
There's too many of these. That's a warning, and a team warning as well.
Okay.
You've got it, you understand it.
Yep.
I've been pretty lenient and empathetic. Yep. It's got to stop.
Can I just ask about Rob?
Well, the easiest one, apart from the conversion in front.
Well, this one's essential, Clarkie. He needs to nail this to get beyond the 14. 2 converted tries.
A lot of debate this week. Quade Cooper versus Dan Carter. What their standing is in World Rugby as far as the number 10s go.
We might get to find out next week yet.
But everyone agrees. He has taken his game to a new level in 2011, Quade Cooper.
The Reds have won 9 from 9 this season when they've led at half-time.
That's better. So there's the first successful shot at penalty goal of the night for Cooper to go with his 1 conversion. So it's 15 points to 0. The Reds over the Blues.
They deserve those points for the counter-attack they put on after all the defence that they staged in their own 22. They then raced down there. So they got the 3 points that they deserved.
It's interesting, I was over in New Zealand a couple of weeks ago doing some work with Fox Sports, and there's a little 7-year-old kid running around, Maori boy, and he was calling himself Quade Cooper, and he wasn't calling himself Dan Carter. And the Kiwi bloke said to me, Quade Cooper, he's not an Aussie, he's a Mozzie.
Maori Aussie.
Maori Aussie.
And Cooper,
Wait 5.
speak of the devil, bangs it down to Lockie Munro. And he fires it across to Luke McAllister. Joe Rokothoko to halfway. Plenty of red jumpers there. Can Joe pull something out of the bag close to half-time? Not this time. Brett McAllister, wide ball to Falmawina, to Benson Stanley, back to Falmawina, and the big front rower, 125 kgs, takes it over the 10-metre mark. Brett trying to step his way through, and now he gives it to Braid.
What a great angle by Luke Braid.
Brett McAllister just a little flat-footed there. Now Payne starts to get over the advantage line up to the 22. McAllister out the back door it goes. Brett intercept almost. Oh, and now Munro. Advantage. Still advantage to the Blues out the back door. Nothing happening there.
A lot of their passes are just
behind the man.
Yeah, and they're hanging onto it too long before they're deciding to throw it. They just got to throw it.
Lockie Munro's left the field with some issues around the hip. Just getting some work on him now.
And they've got Luke McAllister to take over the goal kicking from Lockie Munro. So one change in each team so far. Shats on for Samo as the halftime siren sounds in the background. Blues, can they come up with some points? Larry! Oh, yes! What a finish to the first half! Well, the Reds went to sleep. Maybe they thought, oh, well, that's half-time. We've heard the hooter. And Chris Lowry, he scored against the Reds in week 13, and he has scored right on half-time. What a moment to make the big play.
Oh, some lazy work as the siren was still going on the outside. Jono Lance was one too wide. Rob Simmons didn't move fast enough, and Lowry was brilliant.
Oh, just so easy. Lowry did magnificently. The big stride. He was ready to defend someone. There was no one there to defend. They deserved that try, the Blues.
Yeah. What
and
a comeback.
McAllister. No, it's Brett right in front. So Stephen Brett adds the extra 2, and they will be very happy about that one right at half-time. 15 points to 7. The last away team to win a semi-final was the Brumbies in 2002. The Blues will back themselves in this next 40. Only twice has the #1 ranked team lost a semi-final, and coincidentally that was the Reds in 96-99, so here they are again.
Oh, a scrappy looking restart.
And there's the kick from the Blues right down the throat of Will Genia. And Cooper gives it plenty of air, not a lot of distance. It'll come down around about the 10-metre mark. Cooper knocks it back, and it's been picked up by his captain, James Horwell. Sayer for Inga through the dummy. It's a good field position early on for the Reds as Ben Daly has a run. A good run up to the 22. Now Rob Simmons. And Genia has to go in. It might be stolen here. No, Genia has his hands on the ball. Penalty against the attacking team. Holding on. The call from Jonathan Kaplan.
On the 15.
Just isolated there. The Reds knew they had a chance after Cooper dominated the kick through. Oh, that's a big kick by Stephen Brett, and out. Wonderful opportunity for the Blues early on.
No doubt the message from Pat Lamb, their coach, would have been, we need to score first in the second half. And that will then all of a sudden ask huge questions of the home team.
Gee, that was a massive kick from Stephen Brett.
And Mialamo goes down to Kano at the back. Vincent Stanley heading it up to the 22. Matthewson shot it at no. He's going to go to the air, Brett. Payne is kick chasing. Who wants it?
The people in front of the kicker, I think.
Yeah, the kicker.
It's a penalty to the Reds, a relieving penalty.
4 blue ahead of the kicker.
Gee, that's a strange tactic there.
No, I'm glad someone said it. Field goal, I would have understood to get some early points. But a bomb into the 22?
Maybe he was going to have a crack at field goal and he saw that Bo Robinson moved up too quickly. He was going to charge it down.
Marta, they were like Queensland tactics 20 years ago.
Yep.
Stick it up and try to bring it down on the crossbar.
But now all you got to do is catch the ball in the air. Oh, that's loose.
4-1. 5-1,
kick.
4-1. 5-4 numbers.
They had too many numbers in the line out there, the Blues. So free kick. Robinson runs into Kano.
Hasn't had a chance to show his running game tonight, Robinson.
Now Horwell straight up on the captain.
Roll out 5!
Genia sits up for McAllister. Matthewson. Moroka Thoko thought about throwing the pass and then took them on. Afoa. Holmes slipped off the tackle. Stanley. Australian-born, has relatives in Brisbane. Benson Stanley. Brett just getting the kick away. Goes long again down to Craig Cooper inside the 22. He puts it into the safety of the touch.
Stephen Brett's won that one.
Line out, just about on halfway.
Interesting to see the Blues much quicker off the defensive line, really trying to put pressure again on the Queensland runners. They've got a bit of a spring in the step after half-time. Scoring that try has meant a lot to them. The momentum's certainly with the Blues at the moment.
Taking the man out while he was in the air, so it's a penalty to the Blues. Right on halfway, and they're going to have a shot. Stephen Brett walks up to get the ball, but he's going to fire it across to McAllister, who has the bigger boot, obviously.
Gee, he was very quick and very definite about that. There was no second thoughts. Straight away, he was to McAllister or signalled straight for the kick.
Kearnsey, I watched Luke McAllister. It's right here in front of me, ground level, and I watched him in the warm-up, and he actually put 2 over about another 6 or 7 metres back from here, almost on the same line. From 55, 56 metres, he dotted 2 over. Had a third attempt that hit the right crossbar, so distance is not a problem for him.
There's not a breath of wind down there, is there?
No.
There's nowhere to get in.
No, nothing. It's very still.
He's definitely cleaned his shoes tonight too, Luke McAllister.
He can go out later on with them.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a beauty.
Oh.
No problem. Over it goes. So first points in the second half to the Blues from Auckland, 15 points to 10.
Oh, I tell you what, the Reds are going to have to start to lift themselves. I know there's plenty to go, but the Blues look more enthusiastic.
Job done. McAllister turns and goes back. Reds have had no ball if you miss the halftime stats. 34% is what they're into.
Mathewson to Brett.
If you got the sail, the wind coming behind you, as in attitude. Oh, is that off at a Reds man?
Yeah, gee, I thought it was.
Roll out, advantage over!
The Blues looking to take advantage of their momentum. It's backfired.
Now John O'Lance. And Will Genia keeps it on the toe. That's good work, Afawa. And they've got numbers out to the left for the counter if they want to go length to length. And here's Jared Payne. And he's away from one. Inside it goes. This could be something brilliant. Oh, they've just run out of support players. And a big tackle. And it's a penalty to the Reds.
7, yes.
Digby Ioane.
Incorrect entry.
Incorrect entry then from Luke Bray.
Well, he had to save the situation. Ioane shut it down. Oh, what an incredible set of hands. There would have to be 15 set of hands to even get there in the first place. Ioane came across there. What a braid, obviously coming in from the side. There he is there. You watch him on the left of your screen. Doesn't come in through the gate. Just hurries to get over the ball. Gee, there was some promise there, though. The Blues came a mile.
Yeah, I thought a little chip over the top was going to happen there, because there's Pat Lam up there. He'd be pretty happy with what he sees in that first 7 and a bit minutes and the 15 seconds of the end of the first half.
They go to the back, and Higginbotham taps it down to Genia Cooper, bringing Davies in. Rod Davies! A double to Rocket Rod!
A set-piece try from a 5-man line out. It came off the top, and it was so quick into the centre of the field. That's twice tonight that Davies has slipped past by not running the straight angle, by running the wide angle. And if you've got near Olympic speeds to pace like Rod Davies, you're able to do that. On the outside, came round. It was like a 200 he was running. Came round the outside and then straight down the home straight. No one could catch him. Have a look. So it's Higginbotham. Cooper. This is the first time they've been able to do this from a line out because they haven't had enough ball. Davies just scorches.
Well,
He needs to be loving that one.
I think it was Tapuai that came up and he sort of took out Benson Stanley in defence. Stanley couldn't support again. And that created a big space out wide for Davies.
That's under 10 stuff, though, Kearns. He's scoring on the outside from a line-out.
Well, it just didn't have the speed to combat Davies. And the accuracy of the pass, I mean, we must say it 1 billion times every season. If you can put the ball out in front of the man as he's running onto it, that is a massive advantage.
Marto, I think you're being a bit harsh and not giving enough credit there. That was a beautifully executed first phase move.
Oh, magnificent.
You look at it, just the sheer pleasure of it, seeing the spacing, the timing, absolutely perfect. Every single player, the 7 of them in the back line, did their job. Quade Cooper.
Look at those fingers.
A big kick in the shiny boots. Can he knock it over?
Oh, no goal.
No.
Wow, from beside the uprights. And Ewan McKenzie cannot believe it. He is brilliant on attack, but his boots are not working tonight in the goal kicking. He's kicked 2 from 6 and 1 beside the post, but it's still the Reds leading 20 points to 10.
Any forwards watching this game, if you want to know what backs do at training, they practice that. And they love it when it comes off in a game.
Hold up!
The once a season that it actually works.
I don't carry on. Maybe an obstruction there. No, play on.
No influence on the play. And again, no influence.
No influence. Nice refereeing, I guess.
And Cooper.
Nice forward.
Forward first.
It was forward first, but then it was touched by one of the Blues.
My goodness. You want audacious, that was it. Digby Ioane was desperate to grab hold of that.
Yeah.
They've made a change, the Blues. 20 is on there. Chris Smiley, so Albie Mathewson has been replaced.
Clearly forward.
Yeah, forward out of the hands.
But what an option.
Every time Quade Cooper gets the ball, the crowd just lift. Bottoms just raise off seats everywhere.
Well, he won't be changing his tactics on attack, Quade Cooper, but he'll be concentrating extra hard on his goal kicking next time.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what do you reckon the rationale is, Kafe, with Smiley coming on the field instead of Mathewson?
Not sure. Mathewson had been good, maybe. Smiley, they're looking to get a little bit more spark around the edges. Mathewson's a very good running player. So's this guy.
Doesn't see a lot of game time, Chris Smiley, as far as starting matches. And that's turned over. No.
Side entry and hands. Side entry and hands.
Side entry and hands. So do they take the 3?
Definitely.
Oh, after that last kick by McAllister, he's jogging over again. Smiley in 10 matches, this is his 11th match of the year, has played 154 minutes. So he's averaging 15 minutes a match, that's it. Why do they throw him on now?
Yeah, strange. I thought Mathewson was actually going all right.
So did I thought he was threatening.
No, I've just confirmed there's no injury there, just tactical substitution.
.29 years of age now, Chris Smiley, 45th game. So 5 metres in. About 35 back.
The Blues are playing like this and Rennie Ranger hasn't touched the ball yet. Oh, that's nice.
Another good strike. And over it goes. So 20 points to 13.
So Quade Cooper, what? 2 penalties, 2 conversions missed? Is it
possible 10 points, but he's set up 10 or 15.
Well, the margin is back down to that intercept try by Rod Davies. That's been the difference between the 2 teams, in my belief.
Gee, the Reds are a long way offside from that kick.
Oh, that's huge. That's monstrous.
It's going to stay in,
That's
though.
a good chase from Rennie Ranger, too.
Willie Genia will throw it across to Quade Cooper, who has the better angle.
Yeah, that was well worthwhile.
Done a lot of talk about the Blues line-out during the week, Phil, because they've got the back row, Chris Lowry, in there, but doesn't seem to be a major problem for them.
No, it's gone well. They've won 5 out of the 6 throws that they've had.
Lamu goes to the back and he finds Kano straight down to Smiley and Brett to Payne. Over the top it goes. Rokathoko forward, call back.
Oh, that was 2 metres.
I was going to say only just. Came forward out of his hands.
Only just 2 metres?
Yeah, but you've got to take into effect that the player passing it's running forward at a certain speed, and you're allowed to, the ball's allowed to float forward but can't go forward out of his hands. They had a go. Rokathoko was loving a bit of room.
Quade Cooper made a great tackle on him, actually, one-on-one before the whistle went. He wasn't aware that it was a forward pass. Did a great job. In the end, it does go forward there, mate. Look.
Oh, yeah.
It's a metre and a half forward and throws the dummy. Quade, bang, slots him. He'll be happy with that, Quade, making a tackle on Smoke and Joe.
Shoulder out there, please. Thank you. Crouch. Touch. Pause. Hager.
So Genia puts it in. Chat hands it to him. And wide they go. This is Anthony Vanguard, taken by Jared Payne. And plenty of Blues defenders there, and they've turned it over. Brilliant work, Blues. Yeah. And Stephen Brett out on the full.
Well, was that taken back into the 22? Yes, it was.
I'm not sure if he quite planned that hook.
Who made the tackle? Was it Stan? Oh, anyway, we're going to have a look at the kick. That was one of his worst of the night. This game has got plenty left in it.
Don't go anywhere, folks. And there's a...
Oh, Lowry.
He's the back rower, and he steals one, and an important one. And now they drive through, and Braid comes away with it.
Roll out! No hands!
The line-out has not been the best part of the Reds' play tonight. And here's the chip over the top, and now Dipiwani catches and gives it to Tapawai.
I'm not sure if the Blues actually need to do that.
Oh, Jared Payne will shoot himself.
Digby is only about 3 or 4 metres out. Genia dummying. Genia just couldn't reach out. And now they're getting very close. Are they down? No. A metre short. They just need to be patient now. Pick and go from the Reds. Crowd starts to roar. Blues set their defensive line. Simmons gives it out to Holmes.
Oh, great work from Braid on that occasion.
Oh, he's been swamped, Holmes. Might be time to give it to Quade shortly.
No, the forwards want to continue to rumble. No, out the back it goes to Quade Cooper. Puts on a bit of footwork. Quick hands, and now Davies, hat-trick! Rod Davies, 3 tries in a semi-final.
Oh, it was power, not pace on that occasion. He started and then he took off.
And it's the first ever hat-trick in Reds history. Amazing.
That is an extraordinary stat. Quade Cooper went across field. There was a chance of an intercept. He gave it just enough to give it to Dipiwani, who was extremely selfless. Pushed it on to Davies. Ioane hasn't seen much ball, but he decided he knew where it had to go. Here's the chip kick from Jared Payne. Oh, there's real trouble there. You get Ioane running full tilt onto a chip kick 20 metres out from the line. I thought the Reds could have gone over there. Genia went close. Then finally it came to Cooper. He put the fear into the Blues back line. Rennie Ranger had committed himself. And then Davies stuttered. He braced for the impact. Neither of them were able to hang on, and he used power that time.
Oh, gee, what about the chip over the top from Jared Payne?
Oh, yeah, your analysis will focus on that.
How many times have you said it this year, Phil, about the chip kick?
Oh.
As an old hooker, you don't like it, do you?
It is such a low percentage play. Spectacular when it works the 1 in 8,000 times that it does. But it can bring you undone.
Again, Quade Cooper's bad side. He's taken it back about 32 metres. Give himself a little bit extra angle. See if he can keep it straight. It's the right to left. He doesn't really have a kicking coach.
Auckland Blues making some changes while Cooper's taking this kick.
He needed to start it out
Straight.
to the right, and he does that. There's the extra 2 for the Reds. Bit of breathing space. 27 points to 13. The Bruce brothers have swapped. Luke Braid is off and Daniel Braid is on. And I saw Daniel, in fact, I saw
Luke McAllister
getting a bit of treatment as well.
Bloodbin and Sherwin Stowers is on there now. So plenty of pace out on the field.
Minutes remaining in semi-final 1, 2011.
Stolen Davies. He wanted 4.
And now, is this the first touch for Ready Ranger?
Yep.
Here he goes.
But he gets up and goes again.
He is incredible, Ready Ranger.
Smiley to Brett Stanley. Here's Stowers, the replacement. Falmawina running like a back, almost intercepted there.
Might have been a Reds knock on first off Higginbotham.
Lost forward by the Blues.
Oh. I thought I saw a red hand in there first. Jared Payne.
Marta, you mentioned Jared Payne. There he is.
Oh no, Higginbotham. Well, did he touch it?
Could have gone either way there, but it's been a tough night for Jared Payne. That the Reds have done their homework and realised with him defending it outside centre, there are opportunities to get on his outside, to use that pace. And Rod Davies has benefited a couple of times. We saw Anthony Fainga almost get around him as well. And it's just been a little bit more pace from the Reds, and Jared Payne just getting caught out a couple of times. The Reds have made a change as well with
Rob Simmons off Kate.
yeah, Adam Wallace-Harrison on the field now.
Plenty of experience there to bring it home in the last 20.
And Luke McAllister, we get a shot of him being stitched up on the sideline.
Don't even see that.
Pause.
19 minutes remaining. Penalty against the Blues.
That's the first scrum collapse of the night.
Number 1. Just his band on the angle.
Goes against the big man, Charlie Falmawina. And Cooper finds touch. As we look at the penalty here.
On the hit.
Oh, Cooper's got plenty of ammo outside him in midfield with the 5-man line out.
That didn't look straight either.
Well, he got away with it. Big tackle there. The Blues pile into the breakdown. Genia wants to play it down the other end, and that has touched Sherwin Stowers.
It's gone forwards. I'm sorry, but that has gone forwards.
Gee, you don't get bounces much uglier than that.
But that's the kick, the end-over-end kick that Will Genia works so hard on. As often it bounces on and rolls into touch. That one flicked straight up. It was a tough one for Stowers.
27-13. The winner to play either the Stormers or the Crusaders, who will do battle in semi-final 2 at Newlands in Cape Town.
Oh, what a beauty that's going to be.
Picked up at the back.
Red scrum under pressure there.
There was Schatz in 19. To replace Radiki Samo in the first half.
Gee, Kevin Mialamu's having a whale of a game tonight, I'll tell you.
Well, that last Rod Davies try, it was Mialamu who almost saved the day.
Well, I'll tell you what, that was poor play by the Reds there. John Afoa came in. The Reds had their hands on the ball. He was able to come through and try and disrupt it, and then they sort of went to sleep. And so great work again by the Blues. So from the 22 with an opportunity to attack, now the Reds are going to defend inside their own territory. And the Blues, you would think, would have to be the next team to score. Plenty of time left, I know. There's Sue and McKenzie.
Just telling Will Chambers to get ready.
Another line-out win for the Blues. Benson Stanley up to the 10-metre mark. Smiley fouled away. Gee, he loves to run out wide, the big front row, doesn't he?
He doesn't like the pass, though.
And Smiley gives it to Daniel Braid, former Reds player, of course, and that's what happened there.
Tackler release.
Penalty. It had to be.
Tackle release.
Yeah, I think the Blues have got to go for a kick to touch and a line out here.
Yep, Kevin Mialamu agrees.
Hookers, there's a bit of psychic energy going on between us.
I understand.
Luke McAllister is coming back on after being stitched up, so he's got no number on his back at the moment. McAllister. Luke has signed for Toulouse in France. Will be playing alongside strong scrum half Luke Burgess in the next Northern season. Contested that one, and so here we go. Foa goes to ground. Smiley to Ali Williams. Taken by John O'Lance, the fullback coming up to shut him down. Now it's Daniel Braid. Smiley, Mialamu, Zaili.
Run out!
Smiley again, and Williams. Craig Cooper and Hall will make the tackle.
Not going forward much, the Blues. Just need to try and get that bust.
Here's Kano. Safer-Inga entitled to play at that ball. And turns it over.
Big moment, big moment.
He's in a bit of pain then, so finger, or the thumb or wrist.
Well, here's a moment as well. Bo Robinson, successful return from elbow injury. And young Liam Gill is on there, the 19-year-old who started against the Chiefs. And stolen.
Hanson's on, finger off.
So again, problems at the line-out for the Reds. Whether they can hold on, they'll have to be careful.
Is that Davies?
Yeah.
And he pops it up to the support. It's John O'Lance. And Genia turning the Blues around. And back it goes for Brett. Fires it across. Joe Rokathoko.
Oh, here's trouble. Oh, he's pulled the halfback in there.
The halfback.
Liam Gill a bit over-enthusiastic, just got on the field.
Putting the half back in.
And they take it quickly. And Smiley is away. Dibba Ioane makes the tackle on the 10-metre mark. Good thinking by the scrum half. It opened up for him.
Ioane's picked it up too late. He had to grab it straight away.
Come here. And that man.
What's happened here?
There you go. Come here. Yeah, no, that's fine. Come here, please. 11.
What's he done? Apart from hands in the ruck.
We had a situation where they were infringing a lot towards the end of the first half. I've given them the warning to be consistent. I'm doing exactly the same thing. When the ruck is clearly formed and you haven't arrived first, you can't then put the hands on the pole. Okay?
If he's tackled,
Yep. So now it's a warning.
can I?
Yep, you can.
Give us time?
Yep.
James Hall was going to make the point that he was the tackler. He had his hands on the ball, then did it twice. That was the only problem.
Ruck and form, Marto.
Oh, yeah, that's what I mean, mate. But he had his hands there early, took them away, and then went again. Have a look how quickly he gets to his feet.
He does. They're both there. The ruck's formed now, so he can't touch it with his hands.
Still having a go.
Still having a go. Fair penalty.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt. But I don't know about a yellow card. Warning.
Well, it's a team warning. He is being consistent.
Marto, you've still got that red scarf on, though, up there, don't you?
No.
Oh.
Well, that's not out, is it? Oh, yes, it is.
What do we got? 13, just over 13 minutes. They can do this easily, the Blues. They need a moment. They need Joe Rokathoko and Rennie Ranger to be involved heavily.
Oh, Rennie Ranger, get the ball to him.
He's right over the far left wing.
Mialamu. will go to Ali Williams, and a good two-handed take.
That's
Not straight. Oh. Even the experienced, like Kevin Mialamu, can be a little rattled in a semi-final.
Look at Ali having a smile at Stu Dickinson, the touchy.
A lot of pressure on that throw, flat two throw when your opposite jumper is. Oh yeah, that was well crooked.
I think the problem's also, Kearns, if you don't go straight up and you jump across the line, it just makes it look so much worse. And Ali Williams and his lifters, they actually close the space down, so when he takes the ball, it looks like he's getting it on the outside.
And Higginbotham was the jumper against Ali Williams, was screaming his head off, putting pressure on the officials.
Hey guys.
It takes an eternity of time, doesn't it?
Use it.
Who wants it? It's there for Jake Schatz. The Reds pile in with the clean out.
Again, the Blues dominated that occasion.
And the charge down. Luckily, Fainga was there to claim it.
And Will Genia may have hurt himself there. He hasn't gotten off the ground. Cramp.
Hansen goes in. Genia still down.
Stretching there.
Ioane will move into scrum half, and now he flies a wobbly old pass out to Craig Cooper, and it was almost charged down again.
He's chasing his own kick code. Cooper on Rakathoko.
And Joe gives it now to McAllister. Long ball, ready, Ranger. Got away from one. That was Lance, and he got away from another one. And Ranger throws it back in. Oh, they've coughed it up over the far side. The pass from Stanley looked to be okay, and Jared Payne put it down. And is that the season?
Well, that's the point where they won't come back into this game. Rennie Ranger had the chance. He produced it from nothing. Beat two tacklers. Beat Jono Lance, I think the first one, out of Anthony Fainga. He's so strong in amongst the tackle. That ball, it was every right to take that, Jared Payne. Maybe Ioane would have gotten him, but it was a close thing.
Yeah, I think Payne was just sort of drifting towards the sideline as he passed that. There's the Genia incident. Yeah,
it's only cramps, yeah. He wasn't too worried. Well, you can't do anything when you got a cramp, I guess.
Well, the crowd tonight, they were hoping for 50. They got 44. 940.
Something left in the tank for next week again. Or am I speaking too early?
10 minutes remaining. Reds 27, Blues 13. Reds inside their own territory, and Schatz taken by Smiley. The Blues will give it everything now. Back it goes. Cooper trying to clear it.
Oh no, Rennie Ranger's under it. Here's trouble.
No, he wants to throw it this time, and he gives it to McAllister and Joe Rakathoko. Joe and Payne caught that one.
Oh, Tapaway showed good balance in defence.
Hands! 8-10!
Now McAllister. Ali Williams got it out to nobody. It's been picked up by Hansen, and he pops it up. Higginbotham. The Reds have it inside Blues territory.
And on the front foot.
And now Genia kicks down to open spaces, and it's into touch. Inside the Blues 22.
He's taking no chances, Will Genia. This is the way a maestro runs a game between Cooper and Genia.
So Mialamu finds the target. Williams.
Through the middle. Roll out 6, red.
Very slow coming out of there, but Smiley will get his hands on it shortly. They want to continue to rumble it.
Roll out red.
One of the Reds defenders suggesting watch it out wide.
Now Lowry, taken by John O'Lentz.
That was a good tackle. And
Stolen.
Key was the man went straight to the deck.
Now Genia.
Vantage, 5, slowing it down.
And they've got the advantage as well as Schatz takes it forward. This could be the moment of the match, the one to seal it. The crowd starts to roar.
No knock on from his chest. Kicked by Blue.
Pick and go, Horwell.
This is familiar stuff for the Reds. They haven't been able to do it much tonight.
asking questions of the Blues. Have they got anything left in the tank? The men from Auckland. Hanson. 1 metre out. Over the line they go. They will go upstairs to see.
I think it was Schatz, was it? Or was it Wallace Harrison?
Adam Wallace Harrison.
George, try, no try.
Number 18.
Try, no try, please.
Yeah, they were going to get a penalty anyway, the Reds. Ali Williams slowing the ball down.
He's a big man. He's got a big reach.
Oh,
No
he's
try.
dropped it.
Who held on his hand? I think it was Smiley there. Yep, he knows what happened.
He could see the line, Adam Wallace Harrison. He could see it.
Tom McCartney had a hand in there too. No try. The Blues fans are enjoying the vision on the big screen showing it's no try. They live in hope.
Television match official George Ayoub.
Yeah, there's the separation there. Knock forward, 5 metre scrum.
Or do they come back for the penalty?
No, he said advantage over.
He actually won it. Number 1 won the ball. I felt he won.
Clearly lost ball.
JK. Yep. The red player has knocked on over the line. So scrum 5 metres out to blue.
Okay.
Well, advantage was over. They could have had a shot at goal, but they rumbled up and lost it over the line. So it's still 27 points to 13.
Half back.
Number 8 taking it off first. Yep. Oh, going a long way around.
And it's Kano.
I think the Reds might have this.
They've stolen it. Higginbotham got his hands on it. Genia gives it now to Greg Holmes. Genia.
Oh, Digby, he'd love a try. No,
Cooper, can he step his way through? They just need to be patient, but they pop it out the back door. Tapper White scored one earlier. And Genia calls in the troops.
They're going to rumble it up. Quade Cooper may have the drop goal attempt.
And it's Liam Gill who takes it into contact.
Yeah.
Cooper from right in front. It's over. You would think
That's it.
that the Reds are through to a history-making first ever final, 30 points to 13.
That showed poise to do that. We mentioned it earlier in the year, another occasion where he did the same thing. Drop goal when there was a try if he used his full abilities. Just a glance. Look at Will Genia there. Knows exactly what his capabilities are. It didn't take a call, it was a glance. That's all it takes between these two, Genia and Cooper. They've been playing together since they were 16 years of age.
And they've started every game. And Tapawai a little bit light-headed in back play, so I don't know if there's going to be a change there.
Well, the next 5 minutes ends up being a victory lap virtually, doesn't it, for the Reds? They're safe.
And there's the kick from Genia. It goes high for Cooper to chase. It's on the ground. It's been knocked on by Cooper, though. He got a hand on it as he tried to knock it back. Rod Kafer is sideline.
I'm here on the bench, actually, with Bo Robertson. Bo, what a great game. Great one for you to return to, mate. You must be delighted with where you are at the moment, heading to a final.
Yeah, mate, it's a pretty surreal sort of thing. And, you know, just looking at this crowd, who would have thought at the start of the season, so I'm pretty happy with it.
Yourself, the elbow, it came through all right, mate. No dramas?
No, mate, no problems at all. Come through unscathed, so ready to rock and roll again next week.
Who do you want to play?
Oh, mate, I don't know. That's a tough one. Crusaders would be pretty tough, but they've got a bit of travel, and the Stormers are always pretty solid, so I don't know. Whoever will be right.
Best of luck, mate.
Cheers, Cave.
While the chat was going on, Genia and Tapawai have been replaced, no doubt as a precaution. So Ian Pryor is on there, Will Chambers is on there, Ian Pryor is only 20 years of age. In fact, Marta, this is quite incredible. This team could be together for some time because they've got 11 of the starting 15 tonight with 24 years and under.
Oh yeah, they've got a dynasty if they can start to put one together. Plenty to go next week.
And there is time for the Blues to continue to ask the question here at Suncorp Stadium, but there's a steal.
Liam Gill.
No, penalty.
Yeah, he kept grabbing the ball while off his feet, Liam Gill.
Here's Kevin Bialamu. The captain won't stop trying. Smiley. King, the replacement.
20 out!
Smiley. John Afoa, is this his last game? Has played 101 games in Super Rugby, all for the Blues. He's heading to Ulster after the Rugby World Cup.
20 on his feet.
What a great servant he has been to Blues rugby. And so now Henson steals it for the Reds.
Oh, Liam Gill was the one who did the work.
Ben Daly has it. Pryor, no. Oh, it's just been coughed up now. And the pass along the ground goes to Brett. They're going to keep throwing it around. McAllister, now King. Advantage is over as James King goes to ground. Smiley. He's got Jaroko Foko. And now McCartney.
That's fine.
The Reds have got another one.
Well, they're finishing strongly at the breakdown, the Reds, and it goes out to Cooper. Taken. In fact, he kicked it outside the 22 in the end. He finds some open space, and Rennie Ranger.
The support runners from the Blues are starting to get a little bit lazy.
There's a good battle. Ioane and Ranger on each other.
Yeah, they've got to run. They've got to have a go.
McAllister, Roper, Foko, Joe.
Let's go forward. Look at the enthusiasm of the Reds. They didn't just stand around. They went at the ball, and they've got it.
They've scored 4 tries to 1. Craig Cooper, shaped for a drop goal. Now he thought about dummying.
Oh, look at that.
Now he gives it over to Higginbotham, and it's gone forward. So, well,
There's a chance if they go wide.
Someone ripped that out there.
They've only got 2 forwards over there. Jared Payne should have a field day. Now he gets it to Rennie Ranger, and Craig Cooper is coming across. This will test his defence, and Cooper holds on. And he throws it back on the inside, but into touch now.
Crowd like that one. Sonic Quaid. He knows Rennie Ranger is one of the great tackle busters of this competition.
He held his ground, didn't he?
Well, he was just, the timing of his tackle was magnificent. He was actually just jogging across. He said, I know what angle I need to be at to get this bloke, and stuck to it. And there was a nice little hand over the top from James Horwill.
Geez, he made a lot of distance there, James Horwill, to get there in defence.
Greg Holmes is coming from the field as well, so what a great replacement he has been for James Slipper. I mean, Holmes a test man, 13 tests, debut in 2005. His last test was at the World Cup in 2007. First start since week 11, so Ewan McKenzie will be delighted with the squad performance tonight. They finished on top of the table, the Reds. And now they're through to host the final for a very first time. In fact, the team that has finished in top spot in Super Rugby has won the title in 9 of the past 10 seasons. The home team has won 26 of 30 semi-finals played going into tonight, so it's amazing how history repeats. No matter where you're watching this one around the rugby world, we hope you've enjoyed semi-final 1 here in Australia, the Sansa Nations, Australia, New Zealand and South Africa. You know, it's being beamed worldwide. It's the premier provincial competition in the world, and the Blues, they might want to have the last say here. It's Brett, advantage is over. Stanley bounced out of a couple. Benson Stanley up over the 22. Smiley, intercepted by Davies. He kicks ahead. Who's going to win the race? Rennie Ranger will get back there. Lance and also Ioane are up there. And Ranger somehow gets away from 2. And then Wallace Harrison hangs on.
Needs to go wide.
And Brett over to Larry, who scored that try just before half-time to really give the Blues some hope. Afoa gives it to King, 18 on 18. Smiley, Payne stands, delivers, gives it to Braid, Daniel Braid. Out it goes to Bernie Ranger from a standing start. Easy target for young Ben Daly.
Oh, this is a good sign for the Reds. The fact that they have not stopped tackling. They don't want to give away a try like they did at the end of the first half.
Siren sounds, Roka Foko. Over it goes to Kano. And it's gone forward. And that pretty much sums up the Blues' night. So they'll be called back. The Reds are marching through to their first ever Super Rugby final. It's their 4th semi-final, and they've finally gone through to the decider. 30 points to 13 after they led by 15-7 at half-time. 44,940 at Suncorp Stadium. The better team won on the night. And so, in 7 days, we'll be back at Suncorp Stadium.